Depression is a disease that alters one's mind that affects many people in the United States and all over the world. According to the World Health Organization, there are over 264 million people of all ages that suffer from depression. These numbers are extremely high, and everyone agrees that this is a problem, and yet no one wants to take the time to address the issue. We need to better educate ourselves on what this illness is and how to help others who suffer from this. According to the American Psychiatric Association, 1 in every 6 person will experience depression at some point in their life, which is nearly 16.6% of the population. I have personally dealt with this illness for 5 years now and have also done extensive research multiple times on the causes and how to help others that have it as well. According to Medical News Today, the exact definition of depression is a mood disorder that involves a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest. This is more than just a bad day. This is a constant feeling of sadness and hopelessness that can last months, days, weeks, and years, that is caused by many different things. There are a ton of different symptoms to watch out for with depression. Some of the symptoms can be loss of interest in activities, loss of appetite, and many, many others. There are ways to help people with depression. You can listen to what they have to say without avoiding judging their feelings. Depression is a serious illness that more people need to be educated on how it's caused, what it is, the symptoms, and how to help someone who is going through it. Today, I will explain what depression is and the causes, as well as the symptoms to look out for and how to be there for the person in the best way possible. First, we're going to go over what depression is. As stated before with the definition provided by Medical News Today, depression is a mood disorder that involves a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest. But what causes this? Many people think that depression is only caused by having a bad life or traumatic events, but there are actually a lot more things to it, and not everyone has been through something traumatic that has depression. According to Harvard, there are many things that can go into the cause of depression, such as chemical imbalances, faulty mood regulations of the brain, traumatic events, genetic vulnerability, hereditary, medical issues, medicines, and a lot more. People who have been through traumatic events or abuse are more likely to get depression, as well as people with anxiety or have family members that have it. There is actually a gene that Harvard found that you're more prone to having depression. There's also studies of brain imagery which found that the hippocampus, which is the part of the brain that stores long-term memories and regulates emotions and emotional responses, can be 9 to 12% smaller than normal. The causes of depression can also differentiate from people for different reasons. Not one person could have the exact same reason for depression as the other. The cause of depression, for sure, is unknown because of how different it is from each person to person, but we do have an idea of how it's caused and how you're going to more likely get it. Now that we know what causes depression, what exactly does it do and what are the symptoms? There are countless a number of symptoms that depression has. According to the World Health Organization, the amount of symptoms and the severity of them can contribute to how severe the depression is. Now, some of the depression symptoms are, but are not limited to, feelings of overwhelming sadness, emptiness, or hopelessness, angry outbursts or frustrations even over small things, loss of interest in most or all normal activities, sleep disturbances including insomnia or sleeping too much, tiredness and lack of energy, even small tasks take extra effort, reduced appetite of weight loss or increased craving for food and weight gain, anxiety, agitation, restlessness, slowed thinking, speaking or body movements, feeling worthless or guilty, fixating on past failures or self-blame, trouble thinking, concentrating, making decisions, remembering things, frequent or reoccurring thoughts of death, suicidal thoughts, suicide attempts, or suicide in general, physical problems such as back pains or headaches that happen out of nowhere, wanting to stay home rather than going out with friends and socializing. Depression makes everyday tasks difficult. As stated before, this is different from grief or a bad day because this happens every day for months or even years. Different symptoms can be more prominent in different people based on their age or gender. Women are more likely to get severe depression than men, but women are also more likely to get help than men are. Not everyone is going to have the same symptoms or even the same severity as someone else, but that doesn't make it any less real or difficult to live with. Now that we know what to look for, let's discuss how we're able to help others through this hard illness. According to the Health Guide, your help is the most crucial part of someone's recovery with depression, and a very easy place to start is to learn all you can about the illness and understand what they're going through. Nothing they want more is to be understood and think that they're not the only one out there feeling this way. Other easy ways is just to listen to what they're going through without judging them. One of the worst things you can do is make them feel that their emotions are invalid and that they are being a bother by letting you know what's going on. Telling them that they could have a worse life or that it's not as bad as they think is terrible things to say. It can make them feel like their emotions are invalid and make them feel like they can't talk about it anymore. Instead, you can ask them what you can do to help them so they don't feel as alone. You can also make sure that they're eating and taking care of themselves. An easy way to do this is just by texting or calling them once in a while and just asking them how they're doing, if they ate. If you notice that it's getting to a point where they're a danger to their self, you need to let the proper people know, such as the suicide hotline or their doctor. It's okay to not know what to do in these situations, but it is important that you draw the line before it's too late. There are many different symptoms to look out for, but there's different things you can do to help. In conclusion, depression is a complicated illness that millions of people suffer each day. There are many different things that go into what depression is and causes and the symptoms that, according to Harvard and multiple other sources, it's impossible to know how this illness impacts each person specifically. Its most likely cause of depression can differentiate from each person. It can be hereditary, emotionally inflicted, or even a traumatic event. There are so many different symptoms of depression that it's impossible to list them all. The symptoms can differentiate from each person for different reasonings. Even though this disease is so complex, there are still ways to help your loved ones or others with it. You can be there for the person, listen to them, and even reach out for help. Depression is a serious illness that more people need to be educated on the cause and what it is, the symptoms, and how to help someone going through it. Now that you know the severity of depression, what are you going to do to help?